I'm Terina Lee. Welcome to MGig. On this show, we'll talk to Max Shepherd from the Dead Amigos. We catch up with multi-instrumentalist, singer-songwriter Kim Volkman, and Matt Ryan will be in the studio to give us the latest on Munster Times. But first, Rosemary Walton, producer and announcer at Triple M, joins me to have a talk about what it takes to start a career in radio. We also have a chat about what her station is doing to support local artists. Hi Rosemary, thanks for joining me.
Hi Terina, thanks.
How you going?
Good.
First off, congratulations on your new position as announcer at Triple M.
Thank you. Yeah, first time in my 25-year career that I've got my own show.
Yeah.
Permanently and during the day, and it's pretty exciting.
It's very exciting because I've had you on the show before. We had a little chat about what Triple M was doing, how radio was surviving during COVID and supporting local
like
artists.
A lifetime ago now.
It does, doesn't it? It's like last year's complete.
Right off.
Let's not talk about it. But yeah, so I want to talk more about like how you started your career in radio, because I think this is a music business program. It'd be interesting to know your story.
Yep.
Especially in Melbourne. I know like I myself tried to get into a bit of radio. I've done some community radio.
Yeah,
so
you had a great show on Saturday night.
Hopefully I'll get somewhere again soon. Taking a little break. But yeah, so I think it'd be interesting for people to find out that process, and like obviously everyone has an individual journey into radio. Maybe they started somewhere else originally, but to get your story would be interesting.
My dad worked in radio, so I've always been exposed to it, and when I was 8 it was the Ash Wednesday bushfires, and it was such an incredible time. So whenever we see anything like when COVID happened, there's just the way the community gets together and tries to help. So I saw it as a place where the information was provided, but also it was a place where people tried to offer help. So as an 8-year-old, I was in the studio watching people deliver, toys and food and money, and I was sitting there, counting coins that people were donating for people that had lost everything. And I thought, well, that's an incredible thing to be involved with, and I just love listening to radio, and I like Triple M I listened to a lot. The D Generation was the breakfast show at the time, which were incredibly funny, and now I get to work with all of those people, but it's just something that I've always wanted to do. So when I left high school, I got into a course at Holmes Glen TAFE, which I think you did.
I did as well,
I don't think it's on anymore, but it was an advanced media level thing, and then radio was the main topic then, and then there was also after that at Swinburne University there was a industry specific radio course. So there's AFTRS in Sydney, and then this was sort of the equivalent of that in Melbourne. So it was pretty intensive, and you had to do 2 weeks worth of placement twice in the year, and you got to speak to people would come in from ABC or 3AW or wherever to talk about the industry, and you got to sort of meet some people. And then when you go on, I went to 7LA in Launceston for 2 weeks and learnt literally how to do everything, like reception, making ads, reading the news. So you have like this intense 2 weeks of learning on the job, which is really helpful because that's the only way you can really do it.
Side of it.
And then I had 2 weeks at Fox FM at the time, as I was volunteering at Triple R as well. And I got to know some people who had a Triple R connection but were also doing the Fox breakfast show. So I did 2 weeks there, went to Tassie, came back, and then they said, oh, we've got a position open for somebody to come in and do the phones every morning. And 25 years later, I'm still in the company.
Is there any tips that you would give anyone that would be interested in getting in radio these days? Yeah, just get in there and do it, I think. Try and meet the people. Take the phone job if you have to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you do. And working ridiculous hours, weekends. I still work weekends, even though I've been doing it for as long as I have, and I'm probably the most senior person in some ways, but I still feel like I've just started. And, sometimes you're up at 6 working and then you're not finishing till quite late at night. So I think people will sometimes think it might be a glamour job where you get to, meet your rock star heroes, and I mean it is fun. Yeah, of course. But yeah, it's hard work as well. Yeah.
How Triple M at the moment working towards supporting some local artists, and obviously we haven't got international acts coming in for a while, so it's important we continue to promote them.
I think we had Dan Rosen, who I think he's leaving ARIA now, but he was the head of ARIA, and he mentioned this in an interview that we were doing one day, that Triple M's one of the only stations that sort of exceeds the percentage of Australian music that we play.
Yeah.
I always think that we could be playing more.
Yeah.
But I think it's starting this coming week, but Matty O'Gorman, who's the drummer for British India, local band, he's an announcer on Triple M, and he'll be doing 6 nights a week Australian music, so that's really cool.
Yeah.
And so he'll have one show in particular a week where he'll get somebody, I know he's got Shehead coming in this week to, you know, do a deep dive on them, and they're New Zealand, but
Let's
live
claim
here.
them.
So that's sort of what we're trying to do. Like, it's, you know, little
Yeah.
things, but we try as much as we can. And, you know, in my 3 hours a day, I try and, you know, mention as many of our friends and people that we know to try and, you know, give a little bit of assistance where I can.
Yeah.
I know I mentioned there's a Brisbane band called Hits, and we did like an online list of favourite albums of the year, and I mentioned them because I loved that album at the time, and got slagged off on Facebook by some of their fans going,
Oh, no.
why would Triple M care about that? And I'm like, well,
Oh,
we're
come
actually
on.
music fans,
Yeah.
so I think
And like you said, Triple M's probably one of the only like Australian sort of commercial stations that are playing more than their required percentage of
Yeah.
Australian content. So
but yeah, it's sort of, there seems to be, people just think of it as Cold Chisel or Foo Fighters FM, and yes, we are, but you know, there are a lot of passionate music people who work there and want to try and, you know, spread the love.
yes, that's what we've got to do. Awesome. Okay, thanks, Rosemary.
My pleasure.
Can't wait to listen to your show.
12 to 3.
12 to 3 Triple M on
105.1.
Yes.
Yeah, or digital.
Max Shepherd has been a part of the local music scene in St Kilda for many years, bringing the old school sounds of rock and roll with his band, the Dead Amigos. Hey Max, thanks for joining me.
Thank you, I'm glad to be here.
Recently you got back from New Zealand and your band Dead Amigos has booked a bunch of shows.
Yeah, we got our next shows coming up on the 12th of Feb at Cherry Bar.
Yep.
That'll be our first Melbourne show back. We just did Mansfield, and shout out to Mansfield, you guys are awesome. Yeah, and we released our newest single, 1 in 5, when we were in lockdown, so it'll be good to finally get out and, you know, play it in front of people.
Play it live.
Though we have been playing it, but doing it some justice, give it a little release, so.
Yeah, and you're doing a double show on the Friday.
Yes, because the capacity,
Cherry
you can
Bar.
only have 50 people at a time. So there's an 8:30 to 9:30 show,
Yeah.
and then a 10:30 to 11:30
Yeah,
show.
that's cool. I haven't seen venues doing that yet, so
Yeah, it's kind
it's
of
a way
shit.
to, yeah. I mean, it's a way to be able to get
Yeah,
more
I
people
think
to
we're
see you
keen
guys
because
play.
we get to do 2 one-hour sets, so we're getting to change it up a bit. So it's kind of cool in that aspect, but to only have 50 people in at a time, it's kind of weird. But
Yeah.
yeah, and hope I don't, you know, do people really want to come to the 8:30 show? You know, we don't know. So
You're the
hopefully,
opener and the headlining band.
yeah, that's what support bands are for, you know.
Yeah.
So
We don't need them. You're your own support band.
we're
apparently.
supporting ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, self-funded.
Yeah. And you mentioned just before the interview you have a few other things booked as well for the future.
We've got a lot of things coming up. We'll definitely stay tuned because we will be shooting our next video clip, and we want a bunch of people to come down and have a drink and be part of the video clip, so we'll announce that when we got it all organised and stuff.
Yeah.
So that'll be for our latest single. We should be dropping singles and an album this year, hopefully.
Awesome.
So we've got a lot of things in the works, and yeah, really excited to get going. So.
Yeah, because that was the original idea. You were trying to do that before COVID.
Yeah, we
like
were.
Get a bunch of people and have sort of a party scene going for the
Yeah,
flip.
we just dropped the single. We're meant to do exactly what we're doing now, and so it feels like we're a year behind, but it's all right. This year's going to be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And also, we are about to start a podcast as well. I thought
We are going to start a
plug
podcast.
it here
Yes,
as well.
the Rusty Trombone.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
Let's not explain what that means on MGig.
No,
You can look it up yourself.
You can. We'll explain it on our podcast.
Yeah.
But it's very R-rated, I would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Just being a musician, talking to just random people, you know what I mean, and just getting to do something a little outside the box and uncensored, and you're a bit crazy. Well, probably censored to a degree.
Yeah.
We'll probably rein it in. But yeah, as crazy as, legally we're allowed to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got our first interview locked in for next week.
Yeah. Did you want to explain a little bit about the podcast? It's like basically doing a rotating. We'll have lots of different people in.
Yeah, so originally it was going to be a music podcast, and then that turned into a sex podcast, and now it's kind of like me in the middle of just meeting interesting people and
Yeah.
just hearing what they have to say.
So you're our host, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm going behind the scenes for this one.
Yeah,
Yeah. So what sort of people are we getting on the Rusty Trombone?
it's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
It's a very mixed bag, and talking about all kinds of weird shit. So yeah, we got Lawrence coming up first, who's from Southern Ordeal, and you only have to go to his Facebook page to see how out there that motherfucker is. And I can't wait he's a good friend of mine, and I can't wait to have a big chat with him and stuff like that. So it should be fun. There's going to be some drinking and some bullshit stories.
With some gifts we're planning on getting.
There's some gifts for the guests.
Yep.
Some interesting stuff that they're gonna get. So,
Put them on the spot.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully we'll have something out.
Yeah. I just wanted to do
by the
something
end of the
that
month.
wasn't music, that was still kind of cool, and just doing it for fun, just to have a laugh. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's going to be exciting.
It's going to be exciting. And we can jump on the Facebook, the Rusty Trombone, and give us a like and keep up to date with what we're doing.
And Instagram.
And Instagram, yes, we do have that, don't we?
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
See you at the Cherry.
See you at the Cherry.
Kim Volkman is an Australian rock and roll legend with musical roots that tap the dirty, gritty, tattooed rock of Melbourne's St Kilda and Sydney's King Cross music scene. Hi Kim,
Hi, Terina.
thanks for joining me.
Yeah, pleasure.
We sneakily stole you from Alex Rocks
Yeah,
just then, coming for a double interview.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, popular man.
I guess so, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't going to touch much on, obviously, your history of music, because it's an extended history of music, and we did have you on MGig before we were in this lovely big studio here. And
Yeah, that's right. I remember it well.
yes.
Yep.
And also Alex Rocks just interviewed you about all that. So I actually wanted to have a chat about your books that you've brought out over the years. You've got a couple there.
Yep.
So The Devil Won't Take Charity is your first book. Did you want to give us a little bit of a...
That's the first book. It's my autobiography that I wouldn't ordinarily have written myself, but my good friend Pauline Bailey suggested that I write it. And my first thought was, are you kidding me? Like, what stories do I really have to tell? And I thought, look, I'll give it a go. I'll write a few chapters and I'll submit it to her. And I told her, look, be critical. If you think it's just junk, just tell me and I'll cease and desist, straight away. And I forwarded her the chapters, and she loved it and encouraged me to keep going. And so I saw it through till the end.
Yeah, and ended up with another book as well.
Well, I had so much fun writing this one. When this came to an end, I felt flat. It's like, what now? I thought, well, maybe I've got one more in me.
Yeah,
and,
a few more stories to share.
Yeah, just a few more to go. And so I wrote that one, For Those That Dance with the Skeleton, which is a collection of short stories, and it's almost like a an accompaniment to this book, really. So they're stories that happened in my life as well.
Yeah,
true life stories.
Your short memoirs, and you got your...
Yeah, that's it. Exactly right.
Yeah, and Susie from Alex Rocks mentioned a topic to talk to you about. Witchcraft is something that pops up throughout your books.
Right. Yeah, there's an element of that in there. Probably like this little chap that adorns the cover. He's a little brass candelabra that I actually found in a second-hand store on Fitzroy Street. Would you believe it? Maybe in the late 80s, and I was told that it came from a witches' coven up in the Dandenongs about the turn of the last century. Okay. Which is pretty cool. He's a neat little fellow. I like him a lot. And so you put a candle in between his legs, and kind of phallic, you know.
Yep.
And you light it. And,
you had an issue with Facebook as well when you were promoting the book.
Yes,
Facebook
we did.
wouldn't let you share that
they took
image
that
for
down.
some reason.
Yeah, they got offended. Why, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm also a big fan of a woman called Rosaline Norton, who her history, she was called the Witch of King's Cross, and she just lived in squats in Sydney and painted, and was a witch, and yeah, she was just a personality, and her heyday would have been like the late 50s, 60s. She passed away in 79. Just really out there paintings. I love her artwork a lot. Yep. And there's just been a movie based on her life that's just come out. Okay. And I think they're trying to get distribution for it. What the title is, I'm not sure, but it looks really, really good.
Very interesting. So this woman, she's been sort of a muse in a sense, like her art and all that. Yeah,
most definitely. I mean, I credit her with teaching me how to draw and paint. Never had any talent in that area, but I liked her artwork so much. I thought, I want this stuff on my walls, and so I had a go at copying her artwork, and
we should get some for the backdrop. Some Kim Volkman
turned out great, you know, and my walls for a period in time were adorned with copies of all her work.
Awesome. Is there any stories from either of the books that you'd want to share?
Any stories?
I mean, there's probably plenty. Is there any that stand out?
Oh yeah. You know, should have brought my reading glasses.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
Oh look, you know, there's titles in this, you know, about the shrunken head. When I was about 10 years old, my mother, she used to deal in second-hand things, and she would go to auction houses and buy boxes of stuff, you know, lots of stuff, and quite often I'd be the recipient of, you know, here, have this, and she gave me a shrunken head.
Like a real official...
A real shrunken head, and like a baked apple or something, you know, but it was a real shrunken head. And gee, I wish I still had that today. I mean, all these things kind of just, you know, went by the wayside, but yeah, at one time I had a shrunken head.
You don't know what happened to it? It just sort of...
Oh, yeah, who knows? It just went, yeah, unfortunately. Is it safe? The dentist, about my experiences at the Grey Street Dentist, which is, you know, just across the road, isn't it? Just round the corner. You know, stories like that. Yeah, if I had brought my reading glasses, I could probably read you a little bit.
Next time we'll do a small segment for you. You can do some readings.
You might want to know where you can get these books. So
yeah, definitely.
If anyone would like to contact Bailey Pauline 38, Bailey Pauline 38 at Gmail, you can order those books, or from me directly if you get in contact with me, you know.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And as for Kim Volkman and the Whiskey Priest, you guys have a show coming up, George Lane.
Yep, we've got a show on Saturday the 13th of Feb, and it's sold out.
Awesome.
So sorry everyone, next time, but
Stand outside and listen.
you can stand outside, press your ear to the wall.
Get one of those old little telephone, the cups and the string, and just feed it through the door or something. Everyone
you
can
could
sit
try
outside.
that. Don't know how the sound would be, but yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for joining me, Kim.
Oh, a pleasure, Terina. Yep.
Aloha, Matty Munster here of the disgrace scene Munster Times right here. Issue 33 is coming out very soon, featuring Kim Salmon, Dennis Tech, James Williamson, Kelly Stoltz and many others, coming very soon to your local dive bar. Also coming up February 14th, Valentine's Day, at Lost is the St Kilda Festival, or the lure of the St Kilda Festival. St Kilda Festival is cancelled, but Mookie Morgan decided to put a bunch of bands together at Lost, starting at 2 o'clock, 8 bands, 2 mystery bands, $20 at the door, so get your tickets soon, because it's not going to last soon. Also, I want to give a shout out for Terina. Suzanne, playing Lost Hands Rock and Roll, will support acts Poison Fish and Commissioner Bourbon. That's 11th of February. Night gig, tickets at the door. Make sure you get there. See you soon.
That's all for this week. If you want to contact us, send us an email at ideas@studioemedia.com.au. Thanks for watching. See you next time.